You're listening to Sage Against the Machine. Stuff from Akwesasne, the most niche podcast in existence. I'm Joshua.
I'm Isaac.
All right. We're going to talk today about some stuff. Okay, we have to stop being racist now.
Okay. God damn it, I had a good joke about Asian people. Fuck.
Yeah. Which kind of Asian?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Like Pakistani and Indians are called Asian everywhere else in the world.
That's true.
Except North America.
Yeah.
We don't say that.
Yeah.
When we say Asian, we're talking about like what they would call East Asia.
East Asia. Yeah.
Yeah.
China, Philippines, all that stuff.
The best people in the world, the Japanese.
Yep.
I'm pretty convinced that they should have won the Second World War. After watching TikTok, I'm like, they would have done a better job.
The world would have been cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah. Better vending machines.
Yep. Wouldn't be a bunch of fatties like me walking around.
Right. They would just chase you with sticks until you were skinny again.
They just fucking run me until I fucking wasn't fat anymore.
They have drugs now.
What do you mean?
You can take drugs and not be fat.
Like what? Ozempic?
Yeah.
Oh, I already take that.
How's it working?
It works when I remember to take it.
Got you. Yeah. Regularity, I think, matters, right?
Actually, you might. Okay. So, remember, like over the summer, I don't know if you noticed that, but I was fatter.
Yeah.
Like I was like pushing 4 bills.
We have on video.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, you could tell. But I got weighed today. I'm back down to like 377. So.
All right. Progress.
Fat as shit still, but
Progress.
at least I'm not over 400 pounds.
Yeah, going down.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't really give a shit. I'll tell people how fat I am.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's like, it's not like a moral question. It's
an objective question.
Yeah, it's a health question for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
just wait. 100 more pounds, you're going to have calves of steel.
Oh, yes.
Right? You're just going to wear shorts all day long.
I wear shorts anyway.
Well, you'll wear them more long. You'll be
proudly.
Like, bing, look at this.
I'll be sitting here doing calf raises. Yeah, I'll get it. I don't know. I'll get it down more.
Do they set a goal weight?
Me? No. Yeah. Well, I would like to get to, like, if I got to like 270, that would, you know what I mean? Like, I'd still be fucking fat, but not like, ridiculous fat.
So you're short. Your initial goal is 270.
Yeah, 270 I'd be okay with. Okay. Like, ultimate I think would probably be like, because I'm like 6'4", 6'3".
Yeah.
If I was like 240, I think that would be totally reasonable. Mm-hmm. But I haven't been 240 since I was in like fucking 4th grade.
Well, here we go. It's not too late.
Nope.
I don't care what they say. Too much weight will kill you eventually.
It will.
I see these people that are like 22 years old and they're big and they're like, I'm fine. You're 22 years old.
Yeah, you're 22. Oh, believe me, you hit 43 years old and things change a little bit.
Organs begin to shut down.
Yes. As a matter of fact, that's, one of the things I was worried about. That's why, I know I can't keep fucking around about this because eventually it's going to catch up.
Yeah.
Health
is important. Old man talk. You see this mark on my nose? CPAP machine.
You got one of those too?
I do. I have that. They switched me to the Darth Vader mask.
Yeah.
I kind of want to decorate it to look like Immortan Joe.
Fuck. Yo. That's what you could do. You could design CPAP masks.
Yeah. Designer CPAP masks.
Fucking right, man. That's
for the fat millennial.
That's an that's an untapped market for the fat Gen X and millennial.
Yeah, I'm on a cusp of both of those.
Yeah,
I think they called me a xenial.
That's what I think, because like when you look at that stuff, like most of them I see is like millennials. The first year is 81, which is that's the year I was born. But then I've also seen this stuff where they say that people born between like 76 and like 84 are like a transitional generation.
Yeah.
Which is kind of true because, I mean, we were teenagers when the internet first became readily accessible.
We had an Atari.
Yeah, exactly. Like I still had a fucking, we played Atari.
Yeah.
But then we also were there when high-speed internet became available.
Right. But we also got lost in the woods for 12 hours at a time.
Exactly. The 80s, man, and the 90s. Good times.
We were raised by television and wolves.
True. Yeah, that's true. If there is no, every kid in their, like every person who was a kid in the 80s or like who is now an adult in their 40s, you know, the Goonies was like, that was your shit.
It's foundational.
Yeah, man. Come on.
It is our religion.
Yeah. My cousins used to make me do the fucking truffle shuffle. Motherfuckers. But they really did. But I mean, yeah, that's the kind, like, any of you younger people who are listening to this, if you've probably seen the Goonies, but that was how life was back in the 80s. You know, a bunch of fucking latchkey kids who were just doing whatever. I mean, they weren't fucking trying to find One Eye Willie's treasure, but they were out on them streets riding bikes. Fucking breaking shit.
Did you ride a bike as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a bike?
Yeah. Well, I had to borrow one. We were poor. But
yeah.
My uncle got me one eventually when I was like 12, but it was like a 10-speed.
Oh.
Like one of the, yeah, you know, like I wanted like a fucking Diamondback. Or,
yeah, it wasn't
you
like
know.
a Huffy.
No.
I had a Huffy.
Yeah, but I loved it though.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool. But yeah, I mean, and scooters, real scooters, not motorized scooters, real scooters that you had to fucking push.
Not razor scooters?
Yeah, not razor scooters.
Small wheels?
These fucking kids are weak.
Razor scooters are pretty fun.
Oh, I bet they're fun. I'm just saying, like, you beef it a bunch of times on a fucking real scooter, like, now you got your bones.
Right.
Yep.
I saw motorized scooters and I saw motorized longboard. I was in Saranac Lake and I saw motorized longboard, and it took me a minute to think what I was looking at tripped me out because I was looking at a guy on a longboard, but then he was going uphill.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And I was like,
you ain't doing that.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what?
In Saranac?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of hippies there.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Goddamn hippies. Actually, I shouldn't talk shit about hippies.
Hippies are cool.
They
can be cool when they're not murdering actresses and, you know, like the Manson family.
Oh, I wouldn't call them hippies.
They were hippies.
Mm.
Fun fact. All of their LSD came from the CIA.
Yeah.
That's true.
The
CIA program, the MK Ultra program, bought all the acid. So
Manson was part of MK Ultra, right?
Yeah. So all of that, all of the acid in the 60s came from the CIA.
Rock on. Far out, man.
Now we have an iPhone because of it, because Steve Jobs is one of them.
Did he really get the idea from an acid trip?
Possibly.
No shit. I never knew that.
Because he championed handheld devices. Remember the Apple Newton?
No.
That was in the 90s, the early 90s.
No.
Yep. He.
What was it?
It was a handheld. It was one of the first PDAs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But, you know, the tech wasn't up to it yet.
Yeah. Oh, shit. See, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like an idea that you would have if you were, you know, taking some psychedelics.
We're going to talk to each other through our, you know, it's going to be like a telephone, but it's going to be for your mind.
Bro, look at this thing. You won't believe what I can do with this thing.
You take your pictures with it.
Yeah. You can record, you can transcribe conversations.
So I started. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I started listening to Shane Smith's podcast. You know who he is?
Shane Smith.
He founded
Vice
News.
Yeah.
So he started a new Vice News podcast.
Really?
Because, you know, the company kind of got out from under him, right?
Yeah.
So now he's doing his own exploratory things, and that's one of the things he mentioned was like the Stasi. He talked to a former Stasi agent, and they can't believe what people accept through their phone in their pocket. And this was, you know, Stasi, East German.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, the East German secret police, known for spying on everybody.
Pretty good at it too.
Yeah. But not as good as, you know,
Apple
or Google or
Amazon.
Facebook.
Facebook,
Amazon,
Twitter.
Yeah. No, it's called X. Get it right.
You know what? I don't give a fuck. I am never going to call it X. Elon Musk, you can eat a bag of D's.
I don't know.
You know what? He really gets on my fucking nerves now. Because, like, you go on Twitter and he's always, I'm a free speech champion and all this shit. And then, like, and I don't want to, like, go down a fucking Palestine rabbit hole here. But they really have a tendency to shut down people who are pro-Palestinian on there. And then, you know.
Well, because Palestinians don't have money.
Yeah, exactly. They don't vote here. They don't have a lobby.
They don't have AIPAC.
They don't got AIPAC. You're fucked. Go take your fucking, you know, filter your water and whatever way you can, see if you can live.
Right.
I mean, that's really the way it is.
Well, they're starving the North now.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw, they said Israel admitted, I don't know if it was the Blinken or not. And by the way, Anthony Blinken is like Dick Cheney level evil. I just want to get that out there. But they actually, from what I watched and read, like just a little bit, but I guess that Israel actually acknowledged that no aid has gotten into North Gaza in weeks.
And they said that's part of the plan. The plan is they've told them to move, and they're going to starve them. They're not going to let aid in, and if they don't move, well, whoever hasn't moved is an enemy combatant.
Yep. I mean,
Indians know how this story works.
That's exactly what
we know how this story works.
Fucking right. That is the way that the story works.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
The only thing is now is it's different because even I mean, Gazans have these too.
Yeah.
They do. They have these, and that helps.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help my sleep, but because it's fucking like I can't look at the kids anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh yeah.
I just can't do it. I mean, it's to the point where if I even see a post and you can tell it, I just scroll. Like I just can't look at kids anymore in that kind of position.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I can't.
You can tell who the bad guys are.
Yeah, exactly. They want us to believe that it was, that the Gazans are the bad guys.
What about Hamas? It was like, dude.
I mean, that's the thing. Okay, I don't agree with what Hamas did.
Yeah.
But let's not pretend you don't understand. You can at least try to understand why the fuck they would do that.
Right.
Those were people who escaped from a prison.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
What the fuck do you think they're going to do?
Hey,
I'm not excusing it, but
they were elected 20 years ago. And you know how elections are good 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you have a community referendum 20 years ago.
I knew it. We're right here. Right here. I fucking knew
that
it.
still holds water. Don't you worry.
It does. That's you know what? And I actually kind of said that at the meeting tonight too. Oh, things never change.
Yeah.
Like an MCR or a TCR, those are set in stone and can never be altered. It's the same. It's the same principle here.
Yeah.
It's like you can't just I mean, and they killed Sinwar. Which did you see the videos of that?
He was trying to fight off that drone with a stick, and
what a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, that dude. Okay, he was the architect of October. 10/7. Get it? Fine. I get that. It's not cool what they did, but that was a true warrior. I mean, really. I mean, that fucking guy was missing half an arm with a fucking stick, throwing it at the drone.
Yeah, he was born in a refugee camp. By the way.
He was born in Yunis.
Let's tell some of his story because they keep telling what a bad guy he was. He's like,
read it off because I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah,
but I know he was born in Yunis.
Yeah, he was born in Yunis refugee camp to a family who had been expelled or fled from modern Ascalon during the 1948 Palestine War, or the Nakba, as it's called. He was sentenced to 4 life sentences in Israel for orchestrating the abduction and killing of 2 soldiers and 4 Palestinians he considered to be collaborators, and spent 22 years in prison. He was given up in a prisoner exchange. So yeah, his entire life has been war.
Yeah, and what does everybody expect a man like that?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think even in the, like if you took a step back and like looked at it from a global view, I guess, not many men are like that. You know what I mean? They don't have that in them too. Right. And like I'm saying, like I just mean it in a generic term of like, in the sense of most men are not capable of fighting like that. They're just not. They're afraid. You know what I mean? Which is normal. You know, particularly not with the way that he went out at the end. But I mean, what do you expect? And I think that's why you're going to see a higher prevalence of people like that who are born in fucking refugee camps,
right,
in prison, and are oppressed their entire lives.
Yeah. I mean, the difference between a terrorist and a patriot is just which side wins.
Exactly. I mean, give me a fucking break. Like, people say this shit, but they don't realize, like, this is true. The founding fathers, they were labeled as terrorists.
Yeah.
They were labeled as terrorists.
Yeah.
But they won,
Right.
so they're heroes.
Yeah.
If they hadn't won,
It would just
in
be another
English
rebellion.
history,
Yeah.
it would go down as a failed rebellion from a bunch of terrorists.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. History gets written by the winners, right?
But freedom, except for anybody darker than.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But freedom.
It's gotta be freedom. I mean, Nelson Mandela, he couldn't have been. I mean, what the fuck? Okay. I mean, I can't really. He did do some terroristic type actions, but it's like Western people cannot fathom what it's like to be in that kind of situation. And even like the only, okay, the Japanese internment camps, you know what I mean? They got a taste of that, you know what I mean? But really, it's the indigenous people over here in the Western Hemisphere who, you know what I mean, have that kind of experience. And we still go through this shit today,
Yeah.
you know, not to the...
that extent.
Right, not to the extent that the
We
Gazans are
still
going
checkpoints.
through. Exactly.
We're still monitored.
Yeah, and they're probably going to be looking to do a lot more if we don't slow down the flow of aliens coming through too. You know what I mean?
I mean, they use the res as a scapegoat.
Absolutely.
It's all the way across the border. That's a
No argument.
It's a U.S. Immigration problem.
It is a U.S. immigration problem. I'm just saying that they'll use that as a pretext to,
Absolutely.
or
build a wall.
Well, actually, I'm beginning work on something, so like I'll be able to tell everybody more, in like probably a couple months. But okay, so the checkpoint on St. Regis Road. When did they finally like chase that out of there? It was in the 60s, right?
I'm not sure exactly,
I
but
think
there
it was
used to be a customs house.
Right. It's still...
Yeah, the building's still there.
Yeah, the building's still there. And I think they finally chased them out in like the 60s or the 70s. I can't remember. PJ would know.
Somebody tell us.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody in the comments or whatever, because I think it was in the 60s or the 70s.
It must have been earlier than that.
You think so?
Because at one time they had the baskets. Remember, they used to charge them. They used to charge basket makers from the village a duty.
Yep.
So they put the basket factory like on the border.
There was still a fucking Indian agent here.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the kind of shit that like, you have discussions with people online, and yes, the online world is not the real world, but you kind of get to the point where you talk to people and you tell them, oh yeah, I'm Gunyakahaga, and I see similarities between what the Gazans are going through and what our people went through historically, and in some instances still go through,
Oh, and what Jewish people went through in Germany and Poland.
That's the thing is like how
that's
the fuck did they turn this? Like what happened here?
Yeah.
I don't understand it, because that's the thing is like for me, I believe I would like for Jewish people to have their own nation. I do. That's what I want. But
they do. It's called California.
No, it's called Brooklyn. But was it Williamsburg? I think. But yeah, I mean, it's just like I want them to have a safe place, but you can't do it at the expense of everybody else around you.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah,
it's just it's inexcusable. It's actually inhumane. It's monstrous, and it's unacceptable. There's no way.
Yeah, and it's not going to stop. Neither presidential candidate. That's coming up.
Yeah,
that's coming up quickly. What do you think? Thoughts?
I actually think that Kamala's going to win. I think Trump is a fucking moron, because I thought he was a moron anyway, but my take on this was after, which I think I think it was pretty clear to people, like after he got shot in the ear or grazed in the ear or flicked in the ear or whatever, he still got shot. Mm-hmm. And how he managed to like be in a 50-50 race with her is fucking beyond me, because she's a bubblehead, man. Like she has no soul. I think, like I was just listening to a guy named what's his name? Anyway, Mint Press News. He does Colonial Outcast. That's a good show if anybody out there wants to check out a good show. He's a former Army Ranger, and but he was saying that I'm not a clinician, but I don't think she's on box wine. I think she's covering up sociopathy. And I started to laugh, because, I mean, that's honestly the kind of like the way that my mind starts to go, is like, I don't think she's on drugs.
I mean, I'm pretty sure most of them at that level are.
Sociopaths?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you don't get to that?
You have to have a serious narcissism just to get, like, just to be there.
Like, I mean, if people because when people really want to serve their community or their people, whatever, they just do it.
Yeah.
It's like, and I know, okay, you and I both ran for tribal council, but that's not.
You ran for tribal council.
Well, I know you satirized running for tribal council, but
I threw a wrench in things with a non-zero chance of winning.
That was still like, it still was so beautiful to me, because people really didn't. Some people really didn't understand that that's what you were doing.
Well, I mean, that's because, what is it? Democracy is the, government for the people, by the people, but the people are retarded.
Would you say the last time the young people are reclaiming that word?
Yeah, they have.
They have.
That's Osho said that, and he wasn't wrong.
Well, that was Osho. Chad
No.
Johnson?
No.
Oh, I thought you meant Ocho Cinco.
No, Osho is the Bhagwan Rajneesh.
Okay.
He had himself a little religious community that kind of went south.
Yeah. Was he the one that was it? Like they bought land out in like Oregon?
Yeah.
That was a good documentary series too.
That was one of many of those places, by the way.
Yeah,
he had
yeah,
several.
yeah.
That's the only one that went tits up like that.
You know what though? That little old lady who was like his right hand man.
Yeah.
Yo, she was badass.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck! Like you don't want to mess with that lady. Like she reminds me of like a Dutta from here. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like I'll fucking tell you. Like I got a kick out of her.
The pink police officers with the Uzis.
Yeah. Fuck, man. I just I don't know. This shit's also fucking wild. So I just kind of figure like Trump's an idiot. I don't know how he gets shot and then manages to blow that to this dum-dum.
I mean, you're assuming he's blowing it. I think there's a lot of people quietly for Trump that just don't broadcast it.
I know, but I don't. It just seems. I just don't think that he can pull it off now at this point. I'm wrong all the time when it comes to political predictions, because I got this little thing in me where it's like, see, I want both. I want Jill Stein or Cornel West to win.
Yeah.
That's what I want, which isn't likely to happen.
Yeah, because the electorate is full of.
Exactly. But the thing is that I kind of wouldn't mind if Trump won at this point, because I really fucking want to laugh at all the fucking vote blue no matter who dummies. Like,
well, at least if he wins, the left will be a little less for the police state.
Yeah.
At least then liberals will actually kind of be against wars, because they're totally for them when it's their guy in power.
Dude, this shit is crazy. She's out there touting Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
As a supporter of hers.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? Like, and that, if nothing else, that should really illuminate everybody to the fact that Republican Party, Democratic Party, doesn't fucking matter. They're all just like, they're all the same when it comes to economics. They're the same when it comes to everything except for those social issues which are used to drive wedges between regular people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Racism, all this shit.
Right.
That's all that it is. They're all elite class fuckers, and there's no, I see no hugely discernible difference between any of them when it comes to, just the general way of how they picture the world running.
Yeah.
Or the U.S. Because that, hegemony shit too. That's coming to a fucking end here pretty soon.
Maybe.
U.S. hegemony.
Maybe.
Dude, I didn't watch any updates on the BRICS summit today, but it was I did see that there was a proposal for or like a mock-up for a BRICS bill, and that would be interesting to see.
I was looking at statistics of how much each country spends on its military spending, and I was thinking, what if 10% of all of those just got put into like exploring space? You know, ending poverty.
Why would we want to do that?
Right.
People can't hoard everything if if nobody's really poor anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess that's kind of the thing though too, is like me with my cynicism and all that shit. But I mean, there really is. There's absolutely no reason why we couldn't stop that. I'm not saying everybody should have a McMansion or whatever, but you can't fucking tell me that, you know, like I know a guy who's he's built like 3 buildings, you know, and he's done it all out of his own pocket, you know, piece by piece, and you know, like he's doing that. He saw the vision, you know, and I'm proud of him for what he did, because he told me about it years ago. And I was like, yeah, man, you know, awesome, go for it. And he's actually doing it.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he put the effort in to do all of that. And he made it happen. He's not a rich guy, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he actually put the time in. He put the effort in. And now he's providing, you know, housing units for people at a reasonable fucking rate.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, there's no reason why if he can do it, everybody else can do it. You can, you know, fucking A.
Well, I mean, if you can rent steadily for 10 years, you could have been paying on a mortgage steadily for 10 years.
Exactly.
And that is one of the things around here that's a real problem.
It is.
And it's a financial problem.
Just like when we had PJ on talking about the mortgage stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fucking joke, really, when you think about it. I mean, MCA managed to figure out a way to be able to help people get mortgages, you know, and even like that $30 million. And I know that fucking monstrosity of a building for $30 million fucking dollars. That really grinds my gears. But
hey, it grinds. I've heard many people agree with it.
Yeah, it's fucking
not enough to do anything.
No. Well,
enough to complain.
There are enough to do it if they actually put some time into it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, I quit and come back and quit and come back. So whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just like take that $30 million and, you know, like some of the ideas you have for building up, which is, I actually talked to the guy that I was just referencing about that, because he watches the show.
Right.
And I know you know him, but that's what we were talking about the other day. He was like, build up, just like Josh said. I'm like, exactly, build up, you know?
Yeah.
Figure out you figure out the best way you can do it to make it as cheap as possible and provide as many homes as possible. Build up.
Yeah.
But no, let's drop 30 mil on a fucking. And actually, what'd they buy it for? 7?
13.
It was 13? Okay.
As I recall. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you're well over 40 million into this fucking thing now.
It is what it is.
Yep.
It's there now.
Yeah, I know. Never getting it back, so whatever. At least we have it, I guess. Fuck, hey. Yeah, I don't know.
So it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
What a segue.
Yeah, what a segue.
So if only people could hear the jokes that you were saying before.
Oh, we won't say that.
I'm going to get Josh in trouble.
Yeah.
You're canceled.
You come to Ottawa, you can hear those jokes in the live.
Yeah, you got to pay for that shit.
Pay for that. I was talking to someone last night. I'm not going to name them because I've actually invited them to come on our podcast, and they can't.
On this one? Or
on any of our podcasts.
Of them? Okay.
They can't because many of what they see ends up in court.
Sure.
And like, you know, if they talk publicly. Plus, people apparently we are like madness a little bit.
Really?
Well, just most people aren't as outspoken.
No, I know that.
And most people aren't so publicly open.
Right.
They're privately.
Sure. Spill the beans a little bit.
Yeah, the cowards. They're cowards. That's the word, cowards.
I don't like to call them cowards, but I know what you mean. It's frustrating too.
They're not as bold.
Yeah.
They're not as self-destructive.
Actually, that's a perfect way to describe both of us.
They're
very
not
fucking
foolhardy and
self-destructive,
opinionated,
self-righteous and
narcissistic,
self-destructive.
possibly.
Yep, absolutely. There is definitely there's a whole bunch of narcissism and snark in this fucking between the two of us.
Well, there's only so much one person can do, and talking about stuff is one thing I sure as hell can do.
Yep.
Right or wrong, you can change the channel.
Yep.
So in any case, I invited her on here because she was talking about the extent of the problem, and it's fairly severe.
Worse than we even think.
Worse than we think.
Much worse.
Much worse. With domestic violence, with incest, with rape. They gave us, I had a whole package full of like things they give to youth to like let them know.
Right. Make them aware.
Make them aware. And I ask her like, what's part of the problem? And part of the problem is our jurisdictional stuff.
Right.
If it happens in Canada but it's reported in America, blah blah blah. There's only so much cops can do, and on top of that, cops are lazy as shit. Look, I listen to so much true crime.
I know.
And the through line is cops are fucking lazy. Like there's only so many things they can do anyway.
Yeah.
They're just people.
Yeah.
And
sure.
And on top of it, their priorities are not what we think their priorities are.
Yep.
They have their own priorities.
Sure.
And
they are their own priorities.
They are their own priorities. They're a gang and they're a monopoly. And people can argue about that all they want, but the fact remains that most of these things go unsolved. So
yeah, true.
So our worst crimes are mostly unsolved.
Yeah. What's the solve rate for murders? Like 40?
I don't know what the national rate is offhand.
I know it's not high.
I know 40% of police are domestic abusers.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And do you think that number would hold true for our local police?
I don't know.
Wow.
I can't speculate. I can, but
that's what we do.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to put it in that kind of light. Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
I'm certain it's worse in the inner city than it is here.
It's gotta be.
But I do know some of those people. Some are good people, some are not.
Sure.
So
yeah, I worked in the same building with them.
Yeah.
There's, most of the guys there I really like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a couple that I don't think should be doing that job.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So it is what it is.
Yep.
So in any case, that's gonna be the name of this episode. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So the jurisdictional stuff is a bottleneck, and
Sure.
And right away I'm like, if only we were a sovereign people that could ignore jurisdictions and borders and create our own system from the ground up.
Yep.
And then I asked her, how would you envision that? Because, I haven't thought about how do you envision a replacement for the criminal justice system, much less how you would pay for it.
Sure.
But let's start with envisioning it.
Yeah.
And I think it was beyond what she could do anyway.
Yeah.
But it made my mind move that way. Like how do we address this stuff from a different, the criminal justice system doesn't. I mean, this poor lady is
effectively.
This poor lady's already backlogged, and it's just ongoing. And the thing with domestic violence and with abuse and all that is they're all mental conditions. It's like treating drugs.
Sure.
It's not treating drugs. It's like treating addiction.
Yeah.
It's like treating any other kind of mental illness.
Yep.
And changing people is hard.
Yes.
I mean, changing them for the better. Making them worse is really easy.
Fuck yeah.
You just put them in jail and beat the shit out of them.
Put them in jail, give them some drugs. There you go.
Put them in the schools all together, shave their head and smack them around and rape them.
Let's make monsters. That's easy to do.
And that's how we got here.
Yep.
That's exactly how we got here. So we're combating that. And, and she was like, lots of times there's people who you would never guess.
Right. Right.
And, it was, I'd like to hear more. I'd like to hear from people in that field who could explain more. And then also just ideas of, there's a long-term idea. Like we all do in our day job, a lot of us are, what we do is attempting to address that, whether you're in youth fitness or you work at the Boys and Girls Club or you do mindfulness or even if you're a school teacher, like a lot of the school teachers who are traditional, they're trying to fix it.
Sure.
We're always hampered by the systems we're in.
Yeah.
So, my mind was like, okay, if we could invent the systems from scratch, because let's not, we don't want to reinvent the wheel, but that's only if you have a wheel that works.
Right.
And the U.S. criminal justice system doesn't work either.
Nope.
It's dog shit as well.
Can confirm.
Yeah. So let's not copy something that doesn't work. So those are some thoughts I had.
So because you said the thing about, literature or whatever it is to, to show the kids, to like make them aware. I mean, a lot of these kids are probably already dealing with this shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
some of them are dealing with it in their family, some directly. Working with young people, they have this obsession with relationships and dating.
Really?
Yeah. It's and I believe it's learned because it's different schools act differently this way. I've noticed it less at, like, say, the Freedom School.
Right.
They don't. It's not as prevalent there.
Right.
Whereas the other schools it's very much a topic of discussion amongst young people.
Where do you think that comes from?
I'm not sure.
You think it's like just
it's
there's
programmed
more Western influence, like in a public school,
Yeah.
like rather than, with the Freedom School, it's, more based in.
I think there's that. I think it's the larger class sizes.
Okay.
I think it's
less control. Well, not control.
Yeah, I think in the Western school system, parents have less direct control over their kids' education, so their kids are actually away from them more.
Right.
And the system, the way, I was actually thinking of the Wonder Years, the show, the Wonder Years, because that's a big topic. When you first watch the Wonder Years, he's in middle school. Yeah. And that's what they're all talking about. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is it's like this American thing that's just gotten worse each generation, but it's like a momentum thing. Okay. They come in from elementary, it's not a thing, and then they learn about it in middle school, and then it just continues on because they all want to be part of it.
Is it so? Like, okay, because this is actually interesting to me, to try to see where you come down on this. You and I are around the same age. You work with kids. Do you see that, like, is there really that big a difference in how kids are now today than how, like, when we were teenagers?
They know more.
Okay.
They know more. They're more savvy. Mm-hmm. They have a bigger worldview. Their conflicts are the same. Mm-hmm. They have more avenues to hurt each other.
Social media, yeah.
Yeah.
I see. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Are they more cruel, do you think?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I think what happens is people look back in time with rose-colored glasses and they forget what it's actually like. And people were cruel and violent in the past.
Our generation was fucking
and teachers brutal. Were cruel and violent in the past.
Yep.
There are good teachers. There are teachers who could use a punch in the head.
Yes.
I've never seen a teacher yet physically assault a child.
Right.
And that happened regularly when I was a kid.
Yeah, you went to Salmon, right?
I went to Salmon.
My wife went to Salmon, and she told me, because when she told, I went to school in Mexico, New York, and, I couldn't imagine any kind of shit like what she was describing to me happening when I was in middle school or elementary or high school. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Schools now have a great deal of, they call it social emotional learning. Mm-hmm. And it does make a difference. Like, it gives a support network to kids who probably don't have one.
Right.
So that some kids, the fact that you have them in school is a win.
Are the kids now more willing to talk about this stuff?
Depends on who you are.
Yeah. You mean in terms of, like, the adult who's approaching the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, they're probably way more willing to talk to you than...
I'm approachable.
Sure. Yeah.
I guess maybe my immaturity serves.
I told you, my son, he was all excited to run into you that one day.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's I don't know, it's a trust thing. Yeah. And kids can suss out bullshit.
For sure.
And if you're full of shit, they know, especially middle school, they're attuned. Like, if you're a teacher who wants to be liked,
they're going to know.
They're going to torture your ass. I don't understand. There's people who are they've worked in a long time with young people, and they, sometimes take things personally. It's
Sure.
like, don't. Like,
They're just fucking with you.
they're kids. That's what they do
Yep.
at that age. So I don't think they're any worse or better that way.
Yeah.
Some things were better. I've noticed the boys are more affectionate towards each other than I remember.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes. That is true.
And
from what I've seen from, my son and his boys.
Yeah. And it's something I had to like not tease them about. Like, at first I want to pick on them a little bit. Then I'm like, wait, no, this is good. This is progress. We don't need to continue the bullshit.
Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is like, because my boy is 18 and like I've seen, his close, his boys, them, coming up through the years. And that is something that I noticed. It was like, they'll actually like be really kind to each other. And like, back in the day when we were if it was back in the 90s and you were saying shit like that, you'd be like, oh, what the fuck? You're a pussy. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then they go, or you'd start getting into the gay slurs and shit like that. And like, I'm actually very impressed with the way that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The idea of like traditional masculinity, you know what I mean? Being changed, which is good, you know? I do.
I think it's good. I think it's real masculinity. It's not false the girls can be pretty vicious to each other.
Yeah.
I think that's always been a thing. Like, but I always just try to remind people, don't go out of your way to make things more miserable for someone else.
Right. Yep.
If it's not that hard to be a little bit nice.
Yeah. You don't know what that other kid is going through.
Yeah.
Like that's what we always try to, my wife particularly really stressing that to La'a. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what's going on with that kid at home.
Right. And that's something to remind adults too.
Absolutely.
Because adults will like, that's a bad kid. It's like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
That's a smart kid.
Yep.
Who has a shit home.
And doesn't fucking know what to do.
Those brains are turning him into a monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's learned the wrong way to use them.
What do you think? So like, that idea of like, he's being turned into a monster.
Yeah.
Do you think there's because you said like it's hard to get somebody to change for the better?
Yeah.
Is there like a certain point where you would be like, I don't think that you can write this.
I don't know, man.
Anymore.
I don't know. Like
you'd never give up.
I've seen people. We know people who are fucking dipshits who figured it out. We also know the opposite. Like we know people that were
goody two shoes.
Yeah.
Went the bad road. Yep.
Yeah. So it's hard to say. But I think it goes towards the other question about the domestic violence and all that, because it's, it's not a easy answer problem.
No,
it's like, how do we change society problem, and how do we do it without creating more problem? Like, I think often social work does as much damage as it does helping.
I can agree with that.
I think the systems that exist, the way they existed as part of the criminal justice system, creates as many or more problems and doesn't heal. It's almost like the West. Everything they do is violent. It's almost like their society's based on violence or something, and a hierarchy. And
where'd they all get this
punishment and shame? I don't know where it would come from. I don't know. It has something to do with religion.
Why is there such a prevalence of people beating the shit out of their spouse? I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
All of your fucking heroic origin stories are, let's kill a bunch of Indians and take a bunch of black people, make them work for us for free and beat the shit out of them. And, you know, like, and I mean, honestly, people think that might sound ridiculous, but really, I mean, that's the heroic origin story of the U.S.
Right. So, what are some things we could do? Like, I have this idea in my head. I talk to people. I don't think any like longhouse has they define what is Indian, what is traditional. I don't think that's true.
I don't know.
But I don't think any one organization can either. But I do think that there's a lot of places where you can melt into the melting pot. Mm-hmm. And this is one place where you can be an Indian still.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm not going to define what that is yet. But part of that is fixing this problem.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe our neighbors will take a note from it when it's successful.
Yeah.
Because I want our neighbors to be cool too.
Me too.
Like that, where I work, it's mostly native, but I work with non-native kids too.
Yeah.
And I don't I don't discriminate.
Right.
Like you're my neighbors. Half the time you're related to us too.
Yep.
Through different families.
At some point, there's a good chance.
Yeah. So dude, we're all our relations here.
Yep.
So let's make this like cool.
Well, I mean, that's what we're taught, right? Do no harm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, why, and yeah, I'll go that route where it's like, yeah, I am going to worry about our people first. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that I don't care about others as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's,
right.
When you help other people, then then our kids see us helping others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That can't be a bad thing.
Well, even like say our businesses employ people from a lot of non-native people.
Sure.
And I think we should when I read the news from like say Messina and they're begging these corporations for jobs, like how come you're not begging us for jobs?
Yep.
You guys need to see that like we're your jobs too.
Exactly.
And we're helping you out too. And then like the casino compact, I would much rather the money go directly to the municipalities around us.
Yep.
That's nice. Let's please build new fire halls in every town around us. That's good idea.
And fuck the state.
Yeah.
I mean,
Albany doesn't need that for their coffers. Who needs it? Franklin County or the towns. Tupper Lake needs it.
Bombay needs it.
Yeah, Bombay needs it.
I mean, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like we've looked. PJ and I have looked at the budgets for the towns around us. The compacts, and I mean literally like Bombay and Fort, they would pretty much be entirely fucked if they weren't getting the casino money.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem with us doling it out as long as, we also are seeing some sort of progress and cooperation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Some reciprocation.
Yes, exactly. And
not like distrust.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that actually, I don't know, it seems to me like it might be getting better.
I think that's getting a bit better, at least with the younger people. There's still the old guard who are like,
Dude, you work with these kids, like that's what we're talking about now is, with domestic violence and stuff. But, I mean, you're around these kids all the time. Now, my observation, my son graduated this year, but my observation is that those kind of, the divides along racial lines, they're not so prominent anymore.
No.
Amongst the kids, I mean.
It's not such a hard line. At least here, I don't know what it's like. In Cornwall, it was when we were kids.
Yeah.
When I went to high school in Cornwall, it was like this side of the hallways all Indians, this side of the hallways all non-natives, this side of the hall, this is all the Middle Eastern kids.
Okay.
Because there's quite a few Middle Eastern people and now Indian people.
Yeah, I went to CCVS graduation cover it for a paper, and there's I'm not trying to be corny, but it's diverse.
Yeah, which is not a problem. It's a positive, really.
I think it's great.
I mean,
I think we should all want our kids to be around as many kinds of different people as possible.
There's more to life than French fries.
Exactly.
There is curry,
and there's poutine.
It is delicious.
Holy shit, curry poutine.
It is a thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck, I thought I was really smart.
Shawarma poutine.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's the holy grail.
Oh.
Just add garlic sauce and yeah, you can get it at West End Shawarma.
I've never been to that one. Well, maybe I don't. That's not the one in the mall, is it?
No, it's one on Brookdale Avenue.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, it's thinking about all these things and like, yeah, I mean, domestic violence is a fucking bummer. Like. Thank you, Captain Obvious. But
well, yeah, that's what they said. They said that like people don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it.
So here we are talking about it.
Well, you and I tend to talk about a lot of shit people don't want to talk about. They like to listen to us talk about it. They don't want to do it themselves, which is fine. You know what I mean? I get it. And some people are legally prohibited from coming here and talking with us like this.
Well, that's one of the things that, there's a case of someone I know who was very open on Facebook about their own situation. and they lost their job real fast.
Really?
Oh yes, and there was no. They tried other legal recourse and went nowhere.
Yeah.
What a shame.
I'm,
And that's that was the tribe. So,
of course.
So, why would other people
dare
be that open if they worked there?
Yeah, and that's you. I know you have the same exact thing happen to you. It's like when you're talking with people who actually work for the SRMT in particular, is that it's a facade when it's a fugazi when you hear tribal council, it just they spew those lines about, oh, we want our employees to speak openly.
Yeah, no, you don't.
That's
They
bullshit.
don't.
That is so not true.
Mohawk Council doesn't want for the right. To be fair, like I'm not just picking on the tribe.
No, I know.
And bureaucracies tend to be like this.
Yes,
and so this is
and that ties into the domestic abuse thing too.
Yeah, it's all linked together. And that's why I think
Yep.
it's so. We ask why our election's so dog shit.
Yes,
This is all hooked together.
absolutely.
Everything's connected, man. I'm like the guy in the
With the fucking red yarn.
the red yarn.
Hold on.
It's all connected.
I got another one. I'm gonna come here to do a show one night, and Josh is gonna have the whole fucking house. It's all gonna be red yarn. No, Tweety Bird connects with domestic violence over here. How'd you get there, buddy?
Yeah.
Fucking.
So I mean, that's what
You went a beautiful mind.
The Peacemaker had to deal with more. It was worse.
Yeah.
So we can do this.
Yeah.
Peacemaker didn't have the internet.
He had to actually speak with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
He really had to get in there and do it.
He just had to be a really cool dude.
Yep. I know, right? Can you imagine? Like, he must have been fucking just ace. You know what I mean? Like
just like Brad Pitt.
Like, fuck, this is the coolest. This is like fucking Morgan Freeman and fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, it can be done.
Well, step one is awareness.
Yeah.
You can't treat anything until you're aware of it.
And if you hadn't brought it up, we would have got into this discussion.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's, I'm not saying like I would want to spend, the majority of my day speaking about domestic violence, but it is necessary. It's not even like that it's needed. It's like it's necessary. Yeah. This is a must, like, because even just what I didn't think it was like that bad.
I've heard a little bit before. I had a friend years ago. She's passed away now. She was an old lady I used to work with, and she sat on a police commission on the Canadian side, and that's what she would say too. She's like, "You have no idea." Yeah. So, and I'd be like, "Tell me," and she's like, "I can't."
Yeah. Right. Right.
Well, fuck me then.
You know what? And that goes to like the bureaucracy shit too.
Bureaucracy in the church.
Yeah.
Sweeping things under the rug is a very Catholic thing to do.
You know me. I don't like to. I don't tend to. I do my best not to pile on to the Catholics because I don't have any beef with them that. I know you do.
They should dismantle the Catholic Church immediately. If you are a good Catholic, you should take your church and break away from Rome and create something different. The Reformed, blah, 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 blah.
Don't they have that already? Like a reformist Catholic?
They do. Yeah. Because other Catholics saw this and said,
and we're like, no.
We're good people. We're out. We're out. Yeah, we're gonna be a Martin Luther and not King, the original.
I do think that is part of it too. And I don't know, I guess like particularly, from like where I grew up, like around Mexico, Oswego County, all that shit. The tendency of people to want to just push things under the rug. Yeah. I'm just assuming that's human overall.
I think it's Western, actually.
Really?
I do. I mean, it's probably other places, but I think it's a very like European based thing to do.
It could be. I just see. Again, this might actually sound funny. From TV shows that I've watched, I know that like fresh off the boat, they like to push things under the rug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm just, I mean, they do say that.
They might too.
Yeah. But it actually would be something to look at. You know what I mean? To try to find out if that is more a Western type thing. Yeah. And like, we've talked about this many times, no matter what everybody on the res wants to say, our community has been westernized in many, many ways, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just has.
Yeah. So go be nice to someone.
Yeah, just be nice. Do your best. I mean,
look, I talk a lot of shit, but when I walk in the tribal building, I am still nice to people.
Yeah, that's what.
I don't walk in there going, you motherfucker. I'm like,
I might be thinking that.
No, I'm not even thinking that. I'm smiling and I'm like, hey.
No, that's what, you know, I think the people who know me understand, like, when you see me out, whatever, and I'm friendly and, you know, all that stuff. And, like, it doesn't really cost you much to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you might not, you know, be friendly and then end up getting caught into, like, a conversation that goes on a little longer than you had anticipated. But, you know, was it really, you know, was it that bad?
Right.
You know, was it that bad? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, it's tough having awareness and empathy then, because when you try to be an asshole, you catch yourself doing it.
Yeah. Hey, man, look, you know, I can be an asshole. I can. But then 9 times out of 10, I'm going to come back and, like, feel bad and then apologize. You know what I mean? And try to make it right.
Yeah.
Now, some of you fucking deserve it when I fucking give it to you both barrels. But, you know, but.
I question your decision making, not your humanity.
Exactly. You're still a human being. I don't like the way you do things, but I am not going to say that you are Pol Pot, you know?
Right.
It's not where I'm coming at.
Yeah.
People tend to think that that's the way I'm looking at it, but it's not.
I do wish I had a place to direct people to learn more, and I actually don't.
This could be one of the solutions that we start opening doorways to.
Text us.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like, that bureaucratic bullshit, you know, and I understand why people, you know, you don't want people going around who are, you know, caseworkers or fucking whatever, program managers. You don't want them going around spreading your private, you know, business. Yeah. I get that. I totally get that. But like when it's generic, you know what I mean? And like to help people understand more about what's going on, you know, there has to be, like, I think it would be good for us to, like, as a community, try to figure out a way that we can go about talking about these things to fully, you know, like, to make me understand, like, what's actually going on. You know, like, how bad is it?
Right.
You know, am I, you know, you don't got to tell me if it's fucking, you know, Jim J. Jones, Jeffy, whatever. I don't care. But, like, just make it easier for me to have a conversation with someone who works in the field so that maybe we can work on, you know, we can figure this shit out.
Some kind of solution.
There's got to be.
I think it starts with awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now you're aware.
And that might be a cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like, you know, I know people who don't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Because
they don't want to know.
They don't want to know. And so they haven't been to a doctor like 10 years. And pretty soon we're going to be having a spaghetti fundraiser for that person because
you need a kidney.
Because they need all their organs and they have cancer.
Yep.
And this could have been prevented.
All you had to do was go get some labs done at the clinic, man.
Yeah. You piss in a cup and get some blood.
Shit, I was doing that fucking yesterday. I was like, oh, I don't want to go do my blood work.
Yeah, I think if I was in, you know, when I think about healthcare, can't we just put everybody, like, have a day where everybody gets, like, twice a year, you get all your fluids drawn.
Yep.
Run through every test. I think, wouldn't that long range cost our medical system less to do?
You would think.
And catch stuff early than when it's, like, treatable.
Don't they always say prevention is the best treatment or whatever the fuck? Like something like that.
And also figure out why certain labs cost so much and, like, maybe we can just do that here.
Yeah.
Like MRIs.
Yeah.
It's a whole other subject, but an MRI machine doesn't seem that expensive. It just doesn't seem hard.
It,
like, in the long run.
X-rays, MRIs, that
Yeah.
kind of shit. Yeah, like more diagnostic and testing capabilities here.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole other subject.
It is, but I think I can see the through line with it where it connects to awareness, and then how it could, break down, future complications
Yeah.
that are far more costly, not just in money,
Yeah.
but also in human lives, capital, health.
Right. People we love.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the same thing with domestic abuse is like, I don't want to sound like callous or whatever, but like human capital, those are real lives. You know what I mean? Like, can you do something to, raise the awareness, and then like, can we now talk about this and figure out how the fuck can we help people more?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so there's got to be a way.
And it's also not just, a man problem or a woman problem.
No,
it's both. It goes both ways. And also it goes to children.
Yeah.
And also it goes to like, there's physical, but there's also emotional, psychological.
Yep.
Harder things.
Yep.
And, doing things the way the Western way hasn't, improved that.
No, not at all.
Like it's a problem in their communities as well.
I mean,
I don't know if it's as big a problem here, or we know more here. We know each other more, and we have a different kind of trauma recently.
Yeah.
Residential schools,
Sure.
day schools,
Yeah.
all of that. Like that's not that long ago.
No, it's not. Not at all.
I mean, I know people who've had a good time at residential school.
Yep.
But there's a lot of substance and a lot of mental illness in their family.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that sort of thing in their family. So whether or not they were, I can't discount their experience.
Right.
But no matter what happened, there was a lot of that in their families.
Sure.
So,
I mean,
it came from somewhere.
There's always that origin story, right?
Yeah.
Always has to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because those cases of like somebody who just like is a total psycho, but it just came out of like pure like genetics.
Yeah.
It's rare.
It's very rare.
It's rare.
It's very rare.
And when you find one,
and it shows up very early.
Yeah, very early.
Yeah.
And you should be watching and studying those people.
That kid is killing animals.
Yeah.
Let's
He's killing animals. He's pissing the bed. He's lighting fires.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's abusing other kids.
This is going to be Jeffrey Dahmer someday. Like, fucking, keep an eye on this kid.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, most of the time it's heavily, environmental based.
Absolutely.
No other way around it. And I think that was actually it was interesting the way you said that. Maybe in Akwesasne, it's that we know each other better. I think that's actually, I mean, we make jokes about the, the telephone line, or the scoop on the res, you know what I mean? But that shit's true. Like, we are all up in each other's shit.
And we can use that to our advantage.
Right. It doesn't have to be.
We are a communal people at one time.
Exactly. And I think that's what that's probably what, I ain't going to fucking lie. I love to hear a fucking juicy gossip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't go spreading it around, but I like to listen.
Unless it's extra juicy.
Yeah. I want 2 slices of cheese. But yeah, I mean, that's, it seems like that's kind of we come from people who like to talk. We come from people who are very, it was a collectivistic society.
You had
communal.
There were 3 jobs if you were a dude.
Yeah.
You could be a counselor, a warrior, or a
hunter.
Or a hunter. That's right.
Yep.
That's what you did. So
pretty simplistic, in the end, and women had make sure to keep us in line because we're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's just, I think like it probably, like this stuff with domestic violence could probably be helped a lot by trying to knock down those bureaucratic walls.
Yeah.
And then just make it more simplistic. Just talk to each other.
And also maybe like approaching it in recovery. I stop using shame terms.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone's in rehab, it's not a shameful thing.
Right.
This is a good thing.
Yeah.
You're trying something. You're trying.
Yep.
We should be proud of you for doing this.
Yep.
Not like make fun of you.
Yeah.
And I've known people who are shy about talking about it because of the shame.
What are you, a pussy?
Yeah. Yeah. Or they're in rehab again.
Yeah.
It's like, no. This is good. This is where we're going to learn skills and try to do the reprogramming in the brain. And so maybe approaching it less with shame too. And yeah, this, people do need to atone for what they've done. If in the case of domestic violence, they need to figure out why they're violent and stop and atone and maybe not be with anyone.
Yeah.
Like,
so you figure your own shit out.
Yeah. Not be in another relationship if you can't keep your hands off other people.
Yep.
So
if you can't keep your hands off your woman or your man or your kids, you probably need to take a step back.
Yeah. And like, how do we treat this? And look at it as treating rather than like punishing.
Yeah, exactly. Because like when you said atone, I like that being the term.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to like constantly embarrass people. You know what I mean? You don't have to every minute of the day belittle them and and fucking poke at them for doing. And granted, look, these people do some horrific shit. You know what I mean? But there's also got to be something in there where you're saying to them, look, you need to atone for what you did, and we're going to work with you so that, in a way where you don't just get more angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, like, if you beat the shit out of your wife that, you should be treated like a delicate flower.
No.
But there's something wrong there. There's something wrong there.
Right.
And you need to figure that out.
Right.
And my guess is that people who are, abusive to their significant other are not really, you don't need to go like kid gloves right away. You know what I mean? You got to get through that. You got to get through that.
Yeah. So I don't know that. And also, people are not open to being corrected.
No.
So
that's a Western thing.
And on top of that, how draconian do you make your society?
Right. No, that's true.
As someone who's very mindful of things like authority.
Yep.
Because authoritarians tend to be also abusers.
Very much.
Yeah.
And that's true. I mean, I was listening to Dave Smith, and Kamala Harris made this comment about like World War II, and of course it was like this fucking ridiculous, analysis. And but that's the thing is like there's past things that end up contributing to future things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, World War II was because of what happened after World War I.
Right.
So it's like all of those things you gotta take it all into account. You know what I mean? It's just, it seems really simple, but we're hampered big time by these bureaucratic things, these stupid rules that, prevent us from having these open discussions. And as you said correctly, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You and I are different. We don't have a problem with doing this. You know what I mean? But it's, maybe it's something that everybody can think about when they're listening to the show and say, okay, what can we do?
Right. Yeah, what can you do? Fix it, please.
Yes. I'm not smart enough to fix it.
Oops. I went to the wrong wall.
Yeah.
That's the outlaw wall.
Yeah. I'm not smart enough to fix it myself. I'll help.
I think the first part is having a voice to it.
Definitely.
That's something we for sure can do.
And like, I'm not trying to give us a big pat on the back or anything, but people don't want to talk about shit. You and I are willing to do it.
Yeah.
And that is a big part of it.
And that's what this lady was like. That's one of their major challenges beyond jurisdiction problems are like people don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
Because they have to, confront
It's uncomfortable.
Sometimes things that happen to them or to
Exactly.
their family, or maybe they do.
Yeah, or they did it.
Yeah.
You know, like I can imagine that. You know, I never put my hands on my wife or my son, but you know, there's shit that I've done in my life that I'm regretful over, and I feel shame still to this day. You know,
I used to be a yeller.
Oh, really?
I know it's hard to picture.
Yeah.
Because I'm so fucking chill and zen these days. I used to be a yeller. I didn't realize that I'm a giant 6-foot dude who's like scary and has a very loud voice.
Yep.
And I don't realize that when you're a little kid, that's just terrifying.
Yes.
Whereas I'm just like, well, I grew up with a yeller.
Yeah. That's
who also grew up with a yeller.
So did
I'm no longer a yeller, by the way.
Yeah. I'm much better about, because I'm a yeller too.
Yeah.
I'm much better with it.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
But it is too, that's something that like, I had to teach because my son, my son, he's also he's a giant too. And that was something that I had to teach him over the years was like, look, when you are really big and tall, you know what I mean? People, it's like a primordial thing.
Yeah,
almost.
They're going to be
like
rougher with you.
Yeah, they're going to get a little more,
Yeah,
they're going to be
scared.
a little more on edge.
Yeah.
Because you're so much bigger. You know, it's just a nature thing. So like, yeah, it's that kind of stuff. And like, if a 4-year-old kid is watching you look like a fucking Sasquatch to him and you're fucking screaming your head off. Yeah, that's going to scare the fuck out of them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it's not going to help that kid in the future.
Yeah. So, sometimes we don't realize. So we got to correct.
Yep. Course correct.
Yeah. So now, no more yeller.
No more yeller. No more yeller. No more yeller.
Yeah. That's our show.
Yeah.
This is Sage Against the Machine. I'm Joshua.
I'm Isaac.
All right. On a giveaway.